Alright, let's get one more done for the night. Hello everybody, welcome back to Pokémon Crystal Clear. Last time we defeated Falconer and got through, well, we got through Sprout Tower and then defeated Falconer. I almost did that in the wrong order. This time, however, I'm going to first go and heal because I should probably do that. But this time, I also want to check something because I admittedly forgot. It's been a while. Yeah. Okay. This time, however, we're gonna go after Chuck, which thankfully there's enough of a route. We're gonna take the sea route. We're not gonna go on the boat. We're just gonna surf over there to head over to Chuck and take him on next. Why did I go in there? But it's been about an hour since the last recording session, aka the last part you probably saw. Nothing much. Obviously nothing has changed. Hope everyone's doing alright today. I know probably this will be up probably 2 days after, or a day after the last part. I actually just watched in between now and the last part. I've been watching an anime called Dr. Stone. Because, admittedly, it has had me curious because it's one of those shows that's like, animes where it's like, oh yeah, we have science involved, and logic, and blah 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 blah. And they were talking about how Senku, who's the main character's father, did not get involved in the apocalyptic event that pretty much ended humanity. And they just pretty much talked about like how him and a bunch of the survivors started their own families and so on. But the episode partially ends with their story on how they had a group of kids and they only showed 4 or 5, I might have miscounted, 4 or 5 kids, and they expect me to believe those 4 or 5 kids survived in an apocalyptic universe. They look like they could be at most, in terms of age, was like 8 years old. And they're just running around all cheerful as if nothing's happening, and it's like, how did the stories get passed on that are as relevant in the current time of the story? Because I have a hard time believing that those young little kids survived. But it's also anime logic, so I'm not gonna think too hard on it. But it did have me squint my eyes a little bit. Like, excuse me, you're gonna expect me to believe this happened? I don't know. There's a limit to how much I can accept in certain shows. In anime, I can pretty much accept anything, depending on what setting or new world they start you in. Pretty much, then Dr. Stone is pretty much just supposed to be like our world. Like it's with some limitations. It's our world essentially, set into an apocalyptic future. But I don't know. There are some things that can get me going. Like obviously, if it were in, so let's take the MCU for instance. I based it upon the comics and what my knowledge of said comics is, and then basing it off of whether or not that can happen. But it's also like it's the comic book universe, so of course, pretty much anything can happen since magic exists in their universe. But I like to believe there are limits in most cases. Oh boy, please don't do this right now. I thought again, I guess drinking water didn't help. But it also because I've been talking a lot today, because I talked a lot at MTG earlier, so our Magic, or Friday Night Magic, so it makes sense that my voice might be a little rusty. Not rusty. Whatever word I can think of. It's a little strained. Especially because I was doing a lot of yelling. For reasons, because that's what Magic will do to you. Where was I going with that? I already forgot my train of thought. That's a good job on my part. Oh, right, I was talking about, like, realism. In most situations, I don't really care too much about realism unless the show or movie I'm watching expects me to believe that this is realistic in some way, which is usually when they present themselves saying, oh, well, this is the science behind it, blah, 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 blah. And I won't deny, in some of my own quote-unquote writings, I have decided to use science to be like, oh, well, this is why this happens, and therefore that's how X character wins the fight, or that's how X reaction happens. But obviously, there's also magic involved, so really it could be bloody anything, and it's like, oh, well, what's the point of it introducing science to it? It's like, why not? Have a little bit of science involved, I guess. So I never really had a problem with that. As long as they don't try to make it the driving force of why certain things happen. So something I've kind of wanted to sort of discuss that I have talked about on Twitter is, what do I eventually want to do with this channel? And admittedly, while I don't believe I will get anywhere into the hundreds or even, goodness forbid, the thousands in terms of subs and views and whatnot, which has never been necessarily my plan. My plan has always been, as always, of what I've said a couple times in the past, where I'm just doing this to, one, play games that I have put off multiple times, that I've owned or played in the past and I never beat them, and two, just to kind of make me get out there a little bit more, because admittedly, I will be one to admit I'm not much of a talker in the real world, kind of just to myself. So I'm just kind of to help me get my quote-unquote social, or what am I saying quote-unquote for that? My social anxiety out of the way, hopefully to push myself to talk more. But under the assumption I do get somehow I get into the hundreds, thousands. I do want to do stuff for this channel. One of the big things I talked about on Twitter was, if I somehow magically got into the thousands, I would want to do a stream or two about donating money to some charities. That would be like my big goal if I ever get that far, which I understand is a big what if, but I'd like to believe it's possible, even if YouTube, admittedly, is not the most welcome to fresh starting Let's Players and so on nowadays, which is unfortunate. Admittedly, it's not it's not the best nowadays, but I'd like to hope, you know. I still plan to eventually get back into streaming a little more, but I feel as if it stands right now, I kind of have to pray a little bit for good internet connection, because I feel like that, I think I've come to the conclusion that that's primarily why the last stream I tried to do failed horribly, and unfortunately it wasn't even just the streaming end of it, it did not record, which makes me wonder if it was also The Sims itself, which is what I played, because I looked at the footage itself and it was laggy. If that's what it was showing on the stream, I can understand why it was impossible to watch, because it was bad. But for the time being, I'm probably gonna stay away from streaming until, even though I say that a lot, I say like, oh, I'm not gonna stream, and then a week later I start streaming. Just because I'm a little wishy-washy on whether or not I want to do streaming more often or not. Primarily because, I don't know, streaming, the way I've always kind of seen streaming, at least in terms of the fun streams, is when people are mostly interactive. And to me, one of the bigger ways of being interactive is Jackbox games, which is something I would love to do, and I mean I'd love to do Jackbox games on a stream sometime. I want to do all the Jackbox games, which, for those who don't know, is something you play on a phone, tablet, anything that accesses the internet, a browser of sorts. And they're all cute little mini games. There's some trivia games. There's some games involving drawing and sounds. There was a new Jackbox party pack of new games, which involved uncovering an alien, for instance, amongst the players, and I was laughing my butt off. I don't know why I'm censoring myself. Laughing my ass off on a stream recently, watching some people play that, and I got to be in the audience for that, and that was fun. But it's just one of those things where it's like, that would be what I would want to play on a stream. I would love to play that with a bunch of people, for either friends or viewers. I'd love it. That would be something I would really want to enjoy. Although, admittedly, I have seen how, unfortunately, people can abuse even Jackbox, where I've seen some really messed up things. from some people, which is my only worry if I do choose Jackbox. But otherwise, I'm really just hoping to get my editing skills a little bit better over the course of doing this. I have a few ideas in the future. Should I, once again, get more subs, more people watching, and also just overall getting better at this. I have a few games in mind that I really want to play. But the problem is I need a capture card. A lot of the games I plan on playing, which is primarily my library of games I don't even touch, are all console-based. I'd argue, looking at it, having to look behind my monitor real quick, it's mostly, I'd say, PS2 games, mostly. A couple PS4. There's even a couple Switch games, obviously, including Sword and Shield, even though I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, primarily because even if I ordered now, like, there's no guarantee I'm going to be able to get it in time and have it in time, learning how to set it up and whatnot to actually play Pokemon Sword and Shield. Despite my best beliefs, not even talking about the money I would need for it, which I could definitely, like, I could buy one right now, but I'm not going to because I can't afford that with everything else I have to pay for. But I think that kind of goes without saying. But hopefully, in like the near future, and I'd like to believe the next few months, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 months, I'd like to believe I could get enough money set aside to afford one. And then at that point, it's just me trying to figure out how to make any of it work. But I think all you'd have to do is hook it up to a computer, right? I've seen images for how they work, and it looks like no, actually that wouldn't make any, no. How does that work? No, I didn't think about it. Because you would have to, from what I've seen, it hooks up as an in-between for what the HDMI cable, or whatever cable it is that works, and then hooking it up to the TV. So I think it just captures the video and the audio from the game. Actually, yeah, that's probably what it is. So it captures the video and audio through that cable as soon as you boot up the system, captures everything that's happening on there, saves it in there, and then I'm supposed to hook up to my computer or take the, yeah, that's probably what it is. I don't know, I don't know. That's, well, I'd have to figure it out. I can sit here guessing what it actually does and how it works, but obviously since I don't have it, there's nothing I can really do. I think, if there's any, I kind of just thought about this. I don't, even when I do get the capture card, I do have a bunch of games I could play. I'm actually not certain which one I would do first. No, I really think about it. A lot of the games that I put off for not playing is primarily because they're really long JRPGs or just regular old RPGs. I can definitely think of a few that aren't incredibly long off the top of my head, but would I play them on the channel is the problem. Which is partially where the streaming then comes into play, where I feel there are some games I would enjoy more just doing a stream of me playing it and maybe completing it, but that would also depend on how long the stream would be and whether or not I'd want to do that. Beating an entire game on stream, oh god, that sounds difficult. But I'd have to look through them. But that's also, once again, once I actually get a capture card. After this session, no, I'm probably going to have to head in for the night. It's getting a little late. I got work in the morning. Got my usual work weekend, which usually inhibits my recording quite a bit, my recording times. But thankfully, I actually have a fair amount of time this weekend, aside from work. One thing I still plan to do that I talked about in the, I think I briefly talked about in the last part, but I think I was wrong, I think I could be wrong, is I do still want to do also Magic the Gathering videos. Or at the very least, I have one Magic the Gathering video in mind, which is just me showing off the different decks I use in the game, similar to a video I've seen in the past that I've always really enjoyed. And funnily enough, I go back to actually a few times just because it's surprisingly relaxing hearing someone talk about all their different decks that they have. But that'd probably be bare minimum the only video I make in Magic in regards to Magic Gathering. I do plan on making one though, but that's another thing that's relatively off into the future, because that's also talking about me having the majority of the decks I have even finished to begin with, which that's its own amount of money and financial issues. I say issues even though it's more of it's a luxury product. Ooh, we're already in Cianwood? That was quick. For some reason I remember that route being a lot longer. Is it really that short? Yeah, I guess so. Huh. Though I guess they also kind of expect you to go to the Whirlpool Islands a little bit. Wait a minute, are the Whirlpool Islands a lot bigger? I don't remember being able to see them from Cianwood. Checking. Okay, where's Sweet? Actually, you know what? Yeah, there you go. Hey, Usain. I can't imagine it'll be that high level. I think it was level 30 last time. I'm gonna say level 40, 40-ish, 40, 40, mid-40s. Oh wow, not even 40s. You're still in the 30s. Okay, it'll be easy. Haunter, huh? Let me introduce you to my son. Wow, we're just kind of literally switching between Caspar and Oolong here. I never quite understood why of all the Pokemon they chose to make Usain's essentially his strongest Pokemon, they chose Electrode. I guess it's probably because Electrode doesn't really have there's not really a trainer I guess I got other than Usain who was most iconically known for Electrode. Electrode, I honestly just never really thought of as an interesting Pokemon, because it's literally just an upside-down Pokeball. It was just used as an explosion example. Goodbye, Usain. Can you continue being awful? Alright, so let's heal up and let's challenge Chuck. I don't remember. I wonder if they make you have to use I wonder if they have you use strength in Chuck's gym. That would stink. I did not swap Pokemon. I forgot this was a fighting type gym somehow. Yoshi, excuse me? Ooh boy. Admittedly, I only have really two. Actually, I have 3 Pokemon that could fight relatively well against fighting types, so I actually might be fine. I'm afraid that don't work, buddy boy. Okay, that just wastes both of our time. What are you doing? Oh, love it. All you're doing is making me waste my PP. I was about to say, don't do this to me. This isn't real. Well, that's as real as it's gonna get, buddy. Yeah, 2-on-1, essentially. They're gonna have Hitmonchan, I'd imagine. And then the guy up top's gonna have Hitmontop. And I probably should be using Slowbro since he's getting a little low in levels. Mach Punch. I remember I used to think Mach Punch was a Gen 4 move. And I'm pretty sure Hitmonchan, it was a Hitmonchan exclusive move until Gen 4. The reason I thought it was always a Gen 4 move is because I used, even though Turtwig's my personal favorite of Gen 4 Pokemon, I always used Chimchar a lot. I used Chimchar a lot more, and whenever Chimchar evolves into Monferno, half the time you get up learning Mach Punch. And that was where I remember first seeing the move. Alright, let's actually change our team real quick. I'm gonna put Slowbro up front. Also, yay, we don't have to use strength, thank goodness. Words are useless, let your fists do the talking. That's violent. Unnecessarily so. Why do you... Oh god, I forgot, you don't know Psychic yet. Oh, I might just make you know Psychic, just because I don't know what level you learned it at. Doesn't it have a high crit? No, Battlefield has to go last, but it has decent power. Thank goodness Slowbro is a defensive Pokemon. Oh, that might hurt. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I might have to check again what level Slowbro learns Psychic. That's a little annoying. Ah, I meant it, yes. Oh. Trying to do 2 things at once now. Wow, 54. Oh no, that's tempting. I might check if I have some rare candy. That's not too far. It's literally 4 levels away. I mean, he does 2-shot Machamps, and that's actually pretty good. Nothing to say? Good. Alright, let's see if I have rare candy. I don't think I do. I think I have maybe 1. I have 2. Ooh. I might want to level up first. My raging fist will shatter your Pokemon. Look at these guys. They're all abusive as heck. Come on now. You're not supposed to punch my Pokemon. Your Pokemon are supposed to punch my Pokemon. Get it right. And that's called animal abuse. Shut up, PETA. You kill animals. Actually, Surf does a decent amount of damage, too. kind of getting worried for a second that Slowbro was still kind of slow, relatively weak compared to my rest of my team. Although, admittedly, it does kind of stink when really all Slowbro's there for is water-type moves, because Gengar has better special attack, so he's a bit of a better Psychic-type user. I believe Chuck is right afterwards. Yeah, let's go heal quick. Take him on. Kind of noticing that it's once again becoming literally just beating. Actually, you know what? I'm going to cut it right here. I'm going to be right back though, because I'm actually going to quickly level up Slowbro quick, so that way he can learn Psychic. Be right back. All right. Trying to learn Psychic. Can't learn more than flu moves. Yes. Get rid of confusion. Alright, let's heal up quick, because it took a bit. It took a few minutes. Only about like, what, 5 maybe? Alright, Chuck. We're coming for your booty. I'm imagining Chuck will start out with a Primate like before. So I think I'll lead with Kasai. And we'll go from there. Are you gonna throw your Are you gonna throw your stone? Yeah. Oh no, the statue that the Pokemon League sent me. Oh no. Let's do battle. Yep. Alright, so I did correct you think correctly. I didn't even see how many Pokemon he had. That's my fault. I'm trying to think, were there any legendary fighting types at this point? I don't think so. So I'm trying to think if Chuck will have any. Probably not. And ever since the Zapdos, I've been wondering, because looking at the rest of my list, I'm probably gonna see at least one more legendary. I think. I'm trying to think. Let's see, the poison. No, probably not. Fire. I'll probably see a Moltres. I'm sorry, what? Did I just say Chuckle? I'm gonna assume that's a Shuckle based on the. Yeah, that has to be a Shuckle. There's no way. That was definitely a mispronunciation. Whatever. Chuckle. I'm hoping that's a mistranslation. I also could be just doing a joke that it says Chuckle instead of, it's Chuck. Right? It's either a really bad joke in terms of the name, or that someone accidentally hit C instead of S. They're relatively close to each other, so I could believe it. Yep, the leftovers. So I imagine if you have a Thief, you could probably take that from him. Actually, wait, was Thief a move yet in Gen 2? I don't think it was. I think that was introduced in Gen 3. Also, wow, that Chuckle was very weak. It only took 2 surfs. Ursaring. Okay. Now I'm interested. Ursaring's a normal type Pokemon I actually really like that I feel like doesn't get enough attention. Alright, Mega Horn. Oh boy, that's why. Ursarings are glass cannons. Very high attack, but very low defense. I'm gonna assume that means that Poliwrath's gonna be his last Pokemon then. Of course, as I say that, he sends out Poliwrath, because, you know, why not? Yep, level 58, that's his strongest, alright. Mind Reader. Oh, well, here comes Dynamic Punch. Too bad he won't get a chance to use it. Alright, whatever fighting types are there. I'm gonna assume Hitmontop is gonna be one of them. Machamp. Yep, that sounds about right. Probably sending Caspar. Finish off the last two. Similar to flying types, fighting types didn't have too many aside from their pure ones. It's probably why he had a Ursaring. Considering there's really not. Let's see, you had the Hitmons. So that's 3 right there. Machamp 4. Poliwrath 5. Remy being 6. And actually, that's pretty much it. But it's like, those are all pure types except for 1. I'm not missing anything, I don't think, in terms of, okay fighting types. I think that makes sense. It was Gen 2, there wasn't that many Pokemon. In terms of final evolutions. Yeah, Granbull, yeah. You're just using the really tough-looking physical attackers. No, I'm pretty sure you're done. Actually, he could have a Crunch, or Bite, or whatever. That could actually be dangerous. Wait, what? Oh, right, because he was identified. Shoot, I forgot about that. I got very confused for a sec there. And there we go. Do 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 da 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 da. TM01, which is Dynamic Punch, I believe. Yeah. Doesn't always hit, but when it does, it causes confusion. Yeah, Dynamic Punch is good on Machamp when he has no hit, I believe the ability is. It's something like that. It's the ability where every attack you do hits no matter what, and every attack that hits you also hits no matter what. What's your weird hint all of a sudden, even though we have pretty much everything? Yeah. We've already gotten all the hints. However, this is the end for this part. I will see you all next time when we go challenge, I believe, Blaine, actually. Although Blaine's actually a few levels, so I might grind just a little bit. Just because Blaine's he's a few levels higher than us at the moment. Which is funny too, because looking at my little notes here, we're still not even at like the first Elite Four's levels. Like they're at the like mid 60s, mid to high 60s. Actually, wait a minute. That's not actually counting the first one. The first one actually might be in the 50s. Either which way, it's we still got a little bit to go. But by the time we get all the gym badges, we'll be more than ready to fight the Elite Four. But until next time, everyone, I'll see you now. Later.